Okay, I think my mic is working, but my voice isn't because I had the genius idea of riding in the rain. So, yeah, hopefully I'm live. Anyway, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Aero Show. I'm your host, Aero, and today it's time for another late night Aero Show. It is Saturday, 11:13. And we have a bunch of different stuff that I want to talk about, and we have some like big topics that I wanted to cover, and yeah, we have a lot of news that we are supposed to cover. The Wednesday show ended a little bit early. That's because once again my internet decided to die, but this time I've got it fixed. Hopefully, I've kicked everyone else off the internet. It's pretty late at night, so I don't know why most devices in my home were using it, but anyway, I've got all the bandwidth and I'm able to do consistent 30 frames per second. So yeah, we have a lot of stuff that I wanted to talk about, like the new US Supreme Court, or its decision that effectively is a big blow towards climate change in the United States. I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to talk about Samsung's new. Okay, yeah, what the hell was that? Uh, okay, I wanted to talk about Samsung's new 3 nanometer architecture that they're working on. Brazil, they are joining the EU and making every iPhone sold in Brazil come with USB-C charging ports. I wanted to talk about that, and of course the big topic of today. Like, I'm still in shock that I have to read this, and it's a huge surprise to me. And of course, I will get into all of this, but I think we have to start with the world news. So, U.S. Supreme Court's decision to limit the Environmental Protection Agency's ability to strictly regulate emissions from power plants, a move that signals a major setback in the fight against the climate crisis. So obviously, you guys know the whole world is basically going through a climate crisis. There's global warming going on everywhere, the increased emissions of greenhouse gases, and during pandemic it had gone during peak pandemic, like early Q1 Q2 to 2020, it was fine, but now as life slowly starts becoming normal, it's become a huge problem, especially in the United States and the U.S. government, and especially President Biden has started introducing new acts and new changes that he pledges in order to fight climate change. And this new act from the Environmental Protection Agency reached Supreme Court, and they managed to overturn it again. So last week they were in the news for uh, overturning the abortion rights and making it basically a state's decision to decide whether they are okay with abortion in their country. So yeah, today's article, extremely dangerous path. Let me increase the exposure just a bit. That is still not readable. What the hell? Is it more readable now? Okay, now I think it is readable. So let's just. I think that's too much. So we'll just quiet it down a little bit. I think. Yeah, there we go. That is readable. So this article is extremely dangerous path. Why is that? What the hell? Why is that barely readable? Okay, let me just So, extremely dangerous path. A Supreme Court's decision on EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, is a massive step backward in fighting crime exchange, experts warn. So the Supreme Court ruled on Thursday to limit the Environmental Protection Agency's ability to strictly regulate emissions from power plants, a move that signals a major setback in the fight against the climate crisis. In a 6-3 opinion along ideological lines, the nation's highest court ruled in West Virginia versus the Environmental Protection Agency that the federal agency does not have the authority to regulate industry greenhouse gas emissions. The case stems from the former President Obama's Clean Power Plan, which he would have enforced. I need to get that out of the way 1 second. I don't know why I keep putting stuff in that. I don't even write stuff anymore. I'm in college. So yeah, the case stems from former President Obama's Clean Power Plan, which would have enforced mandates for how much emissions power plants could emit. This plan was never officially implemented as it faced legal challenges and was rolled back under the Trump administration. The court's public opinion states that when it comes to capping carbon dioxide emissions, it is not plausible that the Congress gave EPA the authority to adopt on its own such a regulatory scheme. It also said that a decision of such magnitude and consequence should reside with the Congress. So the court, our opinion says that the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, should not have so much power over such a big part of the U.S. economy, which is transportation and all of these kind of mandates that they add on could really affect stuff like transportation, because not everyone drives electric cars in the United States. Not every home is based off of clean energy. Many still do drive fuel-based cars. Many still live in homes that are powered from grids that get their power from fossil fuels. So it is still a huge, like a huge dependency that most U.S. citizens have, and their argument is that we're not, we cannot give this much power to the EPA. Well, if the EPA is, I can understand, why they're not giving it's obviously because it's such a high risk, because a lot of people still do depend on these fossil fuels, and which ultimately add up to environmental issues like air pollution, water pollution, etc. So I can understand why they're reluctant in giving the EPA the authority, but in a case like this, the Congress, or at least any form of administration that has the authority, should do something to fight climate change. That is something that has to be done. You cannot just say no to a solution while not offering a solution yourself. That's basically my point. In a statement, President Biden called it a devastating decision that risks damaging our nation's ability to keep our air clean and combat climate change. He added, "I will not relent in using my lawful authorities to protect public health and tackle the climate crisis." Some Republicans, including Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, applauded the decision, but supporters of climate action quickly condemned it. Climate and health behavioral scientist Sweta Chakraborty, president of the Climate Solutions Group We Don't Have Time, told CBS News the court took a sledgehammer to one of EPA's most important tools. And one of those EPA's most important tools is, in my opinion, the ability to introduce mandates, or maybe new guidelines, or maybe new limitations, I think the word is, or maybe some kind of pass that maybe some kind of like test that these companies have to pass. Like every manufacturer of cars has to pass some form of emissions test to make sure they're not putting too much out, and that kind of power is still residing with the Congress, or in most countries still with the ruling party and the government. So any in this case kind of outside scheme, like I forgot what I was talking about. like the EPA, I don't know why I forgot it. Like the EPA heavily depend on, because their their solutions can only work if they have the power to enforce it. So that's why this is, such a major step back in any effort that is put into combating climate change. This is going really against all of the evidence and science that we know is requiring more regulation. Chakraborty said having this type of ruling is actually saying we can actually unapologetically support the polluting of our communities in our United States, and that is an extremely path to go down. Obviously, there has to be some kind of climate change, not only just in the United States, but heavily in the United States, as it's a pretty big country with a lot of people in it that can affect a lot of different people. So climate change, especially in the cases of like environmental pollution, which is like garbage and trash and rotten stuff throwing out in the street, basically dirty places, is or littering as we call it, or and obviously the bigger case here is air and water pollution, especially air pollution due to car, any form of vehicles, or mainly power generation. These two factors, obviously, both of them have amazing working alternatives like solar power, electric cars, and while it is expensive, it is showing a sign that prices are going to go down, and it's going to start being a suitable option for the middle class in the United States, and I'm sure that the world will follow suit. So yeah, a real setback in tackling climate change. Power plants and smokestacks are one of the single largest sources of natural and global climate pollution. According to Environmental Defense Fund General Counsel Vicky Patton, that's what the regulations at issue at this case sought to address. Today's Supreme Court ruling undermines EPA's authority to protect people from smokestack climate pollution at a time where all evidence shows we must take action with great urgency. This is judicial overreach. So I think obviously the best time to take action is now, because now at least it is controllable. If the air quality starts dropping, everyone in the United States and over time everyone around the world is going to get affected. And the United States has a lot of potential to do. I mean, it has, so much money. I mean, it's the greatest economy. I'm not saying it has money that it can spend just like that, and every home has solar power, but I'm just saying that they do have a lot of potential to combat, especially climate change, because climate change will affect the United States the most. I mean, especially in eastern countries like this, obviously it's going to affect a lot more, but in terms of the revenue generation, like improving the economy, I think that climate change will without a doubt improve the living state in the United States. Not only will you have cleaner air, cleaner water, a lot more water supply, and just plain clean cities. I think it'll be better. I mean, it's without a doubt a better thing. It's just the case of the Supreme Court being, kind of, what is the word for reluctant? I think reluctant is the word to define what the Supreme Court thinks, and they're not, fully trusting. Obviously, that's just my opinion. It could be possible that there are just a bunch of narcissist entitled people who just think, climate change doesn't exist. But I'm trying to play devil's advocate here, and I'm gonna start playing devil's advocate a lot more, especially in hot takes like this. I mean, it's not really a hot take. I mean, obviously, I really hope everyone agrees that climate change is really bad. I mean, good climate change is good. Bad climate change is bad. I should clarify that. Not all climate change is bad. We already read that. The industry's... No, wait, we haven't read that. While the case was still going under review by the Supreme Court, Patton told CBS News the EPA was quite clear that any regulations would come from a clean slate and involved all stakeholders to develop pollution standards. Yes, there should be pollution standards in almost every country that is in almost every sector of business that contributes to air pollution or just any form of pollution. it's not, it's even nuclear power plants. There have been cases where nuclear power plants have been discarding their waste products, that is, highly contagious products, into the nearby canals or rivers, and that is going into the ocean. And then people are developing heavy forms of radiation sickness because of it. I mean, it was a problem here in India. I don't think it's a problem there in the United States. A number of power companies also expressed support for the EPA's authority, as well as the American Medical Association and the American Academy of Pediatrics, among others, she said. The industry sector, according to the EPA, accounts 24% of the greenhouse gas emissions in the United States, most of which is from the burning of fossil fuels. So yeah, like I said, fossil fuels is the main source of energy in the United States. Many homes and many businesses still run off it. Obviously, a lot more, especially in developing cities or coastal cities, people are moving towards that solar power approach. But still, many people rely on the grid from fossil fuels. Greenhouse gases, primarily carbon dioxide, trap heat in the atmosphere, increasing global temperatures. Yes, I forgot to bring this point. Carbon dioxide gets trapped in the bottom layer of our atmosphere. That increase. It's like a barrier. Like if you close all the doors and windows of your house, heat is going to build up regardless if it's day or night. And when you have, it's kind of like a shield for the whole world. It is going to increase global temperatures, and we have a lot of heat cases and heat waves going on all around the world. And I think saying United States, especially in cities, in cases, in states like Arizona, are reaching record levels of high heat. And over the years, that heat level could become unlivable. I mean, it's already around 44 degrees, but once it starts reaching 60, it starts reaching 70, that time it becomes, unlivable. Or somewhat unlivable. I mean, you certainly wouldn't want to live in an area where it is 70 degrees all outside. So yeah, high temperatures is going to affect the United States a lot, and that inherent is going to affect the whole world. So yeah, the United States and scientists around the world have warned for years that failing to significantly reduce greenhouse gas emissions will result in extreme and unprecedented impacts around the world, including more catastrophic storm damage, devastating droughts, and threats to health and the global economy. Decisions like today's make it harder to meet the goals of the Paris Agreement for a healthy, livable planet. So for you guys don't know, the Paris Agreement is an agreement and that basically sets living standards that climate change can affect. You can actually read about this. I will have this in the description. Hopefully, I will remember. Hopefully, I'll remember. Actually, no. I'll write this. I'll copy this and write it down. And I just noticed we have a lot of stuff to talk about. Obviously, some topics I missed from last episode. And I'm actually going to try and complete every story today. It's going to be a bit harder, but anyway. So yeah, where was I? Stefan Dujarric, a spokesperson for the United Nations Secretary General, said in the statement. CBS News correspondent Pamela Falk reports, but we also need to remember that an emergency as global in nature and climate requires a global response, and the actions of a single nation could not and cannot make or break whenever we reach our climate objectives. So yes, this article goes on, and basically what this is the failure of Supreme Court to understand and how big of a decision it is to not give the authority to the EDA. I always forget their name. This is why I try and remember, the whole thing. EPA. I need to keep that in mind. The Supreme Court's decision on EPA is, obviously a massive step back in fighting climate change. And climate change is still a problem. But we don't want it to become a huge problem that can affect everyone, including the economy. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on this entire thing. The article is once again by CBS News, and I'll have it down in the description down below. So moving on to our second topic of the day. We have a lot of topics today. Yeah, the young generation of Hong Kong have expressed a desire to emigrate amid the decline of freedom in the city. So, the the city of Hong Kong have introduced new changes and new laws that significantly limit the freedom aspect of living in Hong Kong. And a lot of, especially the young generation for Hong Kong, who have realized how important freedom is, have come out and talked about this. And here is just the what they had to say. So this article is by Al Jazeera, and for some reason I can't copy it. Oh, it went into search, so I don't know what I did wrong there. Why is this in dark mode? I thought I turned this off. I mean, I have to turn this off also. I forgot to, I found, instead of like manually zooming in for everything, I had I had a genius idea. You go to appearance, go to 90 and put it at 150%. And then it becomes, I don't have to zoom in or do other sorts of shit. But anyway, Taipei or Taiwan, should I scan? Oh my god, why? Okay, it's gonna be a little bit harder to read, but anyway, should I stay or should I go? This is a question facing many of Hong Kong's young people 25 years after the city returned to Chinese rule. At the time of the handover in 1997, Beijing promised the former British colony 50 years of self-government, as well as civil and political rights that do not exist in the Communist Party-ruled mainland. But Beijing's intensifying crackdown on the city's freedoms, including a natural security law passed in 2020, has stamped out practically all dissent and has as irrecoverably altered life for the people of Hong Kong. The things that we assumed that would always be here just gradually faded, like the system itself, like freedom of speech, press freedom, all of this, and we have lost faith in our government, said Iris, a 25-year-old Hong Konger who was born in the year of the handover. So, we all know about Chinese about the CCP, the communist the Chinese Communist Party in China have basically completely cracked down on freedom of speech and started implementing laws and mandates that will help them censor any form of free speech that is against them. So this is criticism. This is lots of things that people talk about, like the shortcomings of the government. The CCP has made it extremely hard to publish criticism like this, and in fact, in many cases, have arrested journalists for basically criticizing the government for their failures. And luckily, the young generation has realized this, that they have lost their freedom of speech, the freedom of press, and the right to speak. And they are saying that, hey, maybe it's time to move to a different country. Overall, our generation is pretty hopeless about the future, asking that only her first name to be used. See, only her first name to be used. That is the level of fear in these people, knowing that if they can track down who this is, they are either going to limit, she's either going to be put on a watch list to see what she's doing, or she's gonna have jobs limitation in getting jobs, or or any form of government official documents like visas or passports or anything like that. So it's like like blacklisting someone or soft banning someone, like that. So the office worker said many Hong Kong people use her generation as cursed. Hong Kongers, both born at the time of the handover, grew up in an atmosphere of resistance to Beijing's encroachment of their way of life. They were children during mass demonstrations against a proposed national security law in 2003, and teenagers during the 2014 Occupy Central protest triggered by Beijing's refusal to allow direct elections for the city's leader. So once again, since China is a one-party system, that means there is only one party. There's no dual-party system like in the United States, or a multi-party system like in India. So, and Beijing refused to allow direct elections for the city's leader. So the city of Beijing, which is Hong Kong, the city's leader cannot be directly elected. Basically, the one part of democracy that still remains is effectively being removed. So those demonstrations will follow in 2019 by mass protests against plans to allow extraditions to the mainland. The protests, which began peacefully before descending into violence, expanded to include calls for greater autonomy and even independence from Beijing. Beijing responded in the following year by imposing draconian national security legislation, banning vaguely defined acts of subversion, secretion, terrorism, or collusion with foreign forces. Since then, most of the city's political opposition has been jailed or forced into exile. Dozens of civil society organizations have been disbanded, and critical and independent media outlets have been forced to close. So yeah, this is mostly censorship, in my opinion. The ability to not talk or criticize the government for their failures is honestly terrible. Because it's one thing to not solve the problem, it's one thing to notice it and actively fight against it to stop people from talking about it. That is, without a doubt, the worst thing ever, censorship. And I can argue, people argue about, hey, most of it is probably hate speech. No, especially in cases of politics, very few of it is hate speech. Most of it, in my opinion, is actually direct, fair criticism, in my opinion. So yeah, under a sweeping overhaul of the electoral system, only candidates seem to be patriots can and contest seats in the city's legislative chamber. So not everyone in Hong Kong can become a part of the city's legislative. Obviously, especially in most democracies, almost anyone, providing that they have a good legal background, they're obviously of age, and assuming that there are seats available in this legislative, I think almost every average person can join the city's legislative in most cities. Obviously, there will be some different restrictions into stuff like whether you're an immigrant or not, or how much education you have or not. It obviously depends on the country, but here it's just a lot worse. Against the backdrop of diminishing returns, I can't read. Against the backdrop of diminishing freedoms, nearly 60% of young people expressed a desire to emigrate in 2021, according to a survey by Chinese University of Hong Kong. So, 60% of people desired to emigrate. If you take 1,000 people, obviously this is a new generation. The old generation don't really see a problem like this. They have obviously dealt with it, or either they don't care and accepted that this is reality. But especially our generation, Gen Z, as people call it, do express a desire for freedom. And that's not just common in China, that's common all over the United States. So it makes sense why people would want to emigrate or migrate to a different country where laws for free speech, laws for criticism do exist. So as a group, young Hong Kongers are more, you can call Hong Kongers, okay, are more politically active than older residents. With surveys conducted in 2019 show that 87% of those aged to 18 to 2019 support the pro-democracy protests, and 63% said they had personally taken a part. So 87% of the people, there are obviously a lot of people in Hong Kong, so any form of statistical survey can vary depending on either the region or the group, or the age group. And a lot of factors play. China is fucking huge. So a lot of things can come out in the data, and it might not be everything that we have predicted. Obviously, this can be completely different if you test in either a different university, or maybe in a different area, or maybe a different age group. We can all expect. I think that is pretty global, that if you ask older generation, they particularly either don't care, especially in cases like India, where not many, you don't see, in any form of protest, you don't see older generation participating. You see mainly younger generation, because they know that they have a voice, and if they use that voice together, they can bring change. So yeah, this article goes on and on, but basically summary is a lot of young Hong Kongers, as Al Jazeera calls it, do want to move to a place where um, they can freely talk, vlog, and criticize the government without being censored. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on this entire thing. Once again, article by Al Jazeera, and it'll be down in the description down below. Okay. Wow, we've done 2 articles in 45 minutes, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, that's not that bad. I think if we just chew through it quickly, I think we'll get to it. So anyway, please tell me I brought water. Did I not get... Where the fuck is my bottle? Okay, guess no, wait. Okay, I do have water. Let me just double check that I can hear myself. Okay, I can't hear myself. Alright. Moving on to our next topic. The city of New York's COVID test positivity rate surpasses over 10% for the first time since January. So, surprisingly, New York, despite being the U.S.'s most like population-centered state, there are almost 8 million Americans just living in New York. It hasn't made that many headlines in that for the COVID rate, the COVID positivity rate. Not many not many people in New York have actually been affected by this virus, or especially caught this virus, and they very rarely. I've tracked COVID since June of 2020, and very rarely. Mostly it was in the beginning. It was Italy, then it was a little bit in the United States, and then it became India in April, and then lots of different countries. So far, I think the only country that hasn't made headlines is either most African countries or Australia, and which are very remote places. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, once again, there's what do you mean once again? I didn't even list it. Yeah. So this article is by the New York Times. I mean, not New York Times. Why did I say New York Times? I saw New York and I'm like, okay, New York Times. This article is by the ABC News, and I'll have it down in the description below. Do these dumbasses still have a... Okay, well, if this bar doesn't exist, I can actually zoom in a lot more. But this bar will get bigger the more I zoom. So yeah, New York City's COVID-19 positivity test positivity rate is skyrocketing, indicating that a 6th wave of the virus could be around the corner. Well, we in India are in what, the 3rd wave? Yeah, I think 3rd or 4th wave, and these guys are already on the 6th wave. So yeah, wonderful. As of June 26th, the latest day for which data is available, test positivity rate hit 10.5%. So 1 in 10 Americans who got tested before June, I think it's monthly. So between in June 1st and June 26th, 1 in every 10th American in New York tested positive for COVID-19, according to the city's Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. So this is probably legit. It marks the first time the rate has surpassed 10% since January of 2022, but the Omicron wave was still hammering the Big Apple. Experts previously suggested that the true positivity rate could be even higher due to the number of people testing at positive with at-home rapid tests and not reporting their results to health officials. Well, obviously it will be higher because not only do you have people testing positive and then not reporting it, you have people, not testing. The amount of people who haven't tested but still do have COVID, and in every case, in every country is like that. Even in India, I would argue, if considering the size of India and how vast and varied it is, if you test every single Indian, you will have at least double the cases, more than that, because usually people will push this off as like, oh, it's just fever, and only take serious action when it actually becomes serious. When you get a fever in the United States, you will probably just run and get a COVID test, and then it'll be more. Then you'll if it's positive, there are a lot more tests conducted in the United States, and in India, a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people just pass it off as fever or cough or cold, and then at sometimes they will recover. One second, I'll be right back. So, like I was saying, the more people you test, the more cases are going to emerge. So yeah, not only do you have people not reporting, you have people not realizing or being officially diagnosed with COVID-19. This is a huge problem. And while tests are cheaper or sometimes even free, still many people don't want to take that because of fear. Like, oh, if they're tested positive for COVID, they can't go out. So yeah, not many people test, and people just pass it off as fever or something. That's just in my experience. I don't think in the United States it is the same. I think if you have some kind of illness, the first thing you do will get a COVID test. It actually varies different between different people. But anyway, whatever. Additionally, COVID, as of June 26th, the 7-day count for average COVID test positivity rate in the United States was 15.65%, the highest figure recorded since February 3rd. Additionally, COVID-19 cases were also on the rise, with the 7-day average sitting at 3,216. City data shows a 9% increase from the 2,946 average recorded 2 weeks ago. However, hospitalizations are continuing to fall while deaths remain flat. So deaths are very low, which shows that the vaccines do work, and any form of antibiotic medication also works, and people are actually staying inside and taking rest so that their bodies can fight this virus, which is actually really good to hear. And hospitalizations are continuing to fall because home treatment is getting better. And so anyway, the majority of COVID-19 cases continue to be among the unvaccinated. As of June 11th, the case rate for among the unvaccinated was 1,046.4 per 100,000. So out of 100,000 people, 1% of them were tested positive for COVID, and so that is around 1%. So if 100,000 people were unvaccinated, I don't know how you would calculate that. I actually don't know, but 1% of them. Now this, might seem shocking for you, but the people who are mostly unvaccinated either live in remote areas, don't leave their house, or don't meet with people, or people don't want to meet them because, duh. It honestly depends. So yeah, this data is from the New York Health Department, and it is just in New York. Comparatively, the rate amongst those who are vaccinated and boosted was 4 times lower at 259.4 cases per 100,000, while the rate among those vaccinated but not boosted even lower at 156.4 per 100,000. Earlier this week, Dr. J. Verma, an infectious disease physician and former Mayor Bill de Blasio senior advisor for public health, tweeted that this is likely the beginning of a wave caused by BA.5 and Omicron subvariant. Damn, there's subvariants of a variant of a disease. This just shows how powerful this disease is. So anyway, this article just goes on and on about how the different types, the different subvariants of the Omicron variant, and what we should keep doing. Yeah, knowing known mitigation measures that work, including avoiding large crowds and wearing a mask if crowds are unavoidable. So yeah, that's just my opinion on it. Once again, be safe, if because this virus is not just gonna vanish tomorrow. It's gonna be here for years. It's gonna be here for so long that there's gonna be a new variant of virus. I'd hope not. God forbid not, because I'm sick and tired of keeping up with stuff like this. Anyway, that's just my opinion. This article is by the ABC News, and it'll be in the description down below. I don't know why I closed that. Anyway, 4 I think are done. No, 3. 3 are done, and it's almost 11:53. Hopefully I can finish this in 7 minutes. So yeah, the Eurozone, not the European Union. The Eurozone are countries that use the euro currency, reached a new high record of inflation in the last 11 years. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, um, inflation is not just limited to North America. It is actually affecting even countries in the I shouldn't say United Europe. What the fuck? I mean, in Europe. See, I'm already getting that fatigue, and part of that is due to just talking all day, because I'm going to school, going to work, coming home, and talking to friends, and then spending the whole night talking. And I thought I'll get around it, but it's just taking a little bit longer. So yeah, the Eurozone inflation hits a record of 8.6% as the European Central Bank prepares for the first rate hike in 11 years. Oh, fuck off. Now, once again, this article is by CNBC. I'll have it in I'll have the link in the description down below. So yeah, the Eurozone inflation reached a new record high in June, ahead of the European Central Bank's first increase in 11 years. Headline inflation came in at 8.6% year-on-year for last month, according to preliminary figures from the Europe Statistics Office. Eurostat released on Friday. That beat a prediction of 8.4% in a Reuters poll of economists. The rate had reached 8.1% in May, which means the cost of living is continuing to surge across the Eurozone nations. So they predicted 8.4. This is by Reuters. They got a bunch of economists and polled how much the prediction of inflation is going to be, and they predicted 8.4, and now it is 8.6. Now that might not be a huge thing, but this is hundreds of millions of people in what is considered to be a good economy. So I would argue the cost of living in the EU is actually way better than in North America, especially at a time like now. But anyway, where did I stop? We already completed that. Germany surprised many earlier this week when it reported a drop of 0.5 percentage point on inflation month on month. Now, obviously, Germany is not the only country in the Eurozone, and experts said that this was due to a new government subsidies to ease the impact of higher energy prices, and it was not yet the end of surging inflation rates. By both France and Spain, which do use euros, experienced new inflation records in June, with the latter surpassing 10% of threshold for the first time since 1985, according to Reuters. So basically, TLDR, there's inflation in the Eurozone, which is every country that uses euro as its standard currency. So yeah, there's that. I'm not gonna go on about this article. Obviously, you can read it if you're interested, because I'll have this down in the description. So yeah, once again, article by CNBC, and let's quickly move on. We're almost done with the world news section, which always takes longer, and then I kind of bail out on the last ones. But this time I'm trying to be as even as possible. Okay. I need more water. Where the hell is my bottle? Oh, for fuck's sake. Bruh. Oh my god, I'm fucking blind. Okay. Okay, moving on. Now we have a little bit of an interesting topic. So, obviously, the 4th of July is in 3 days. It's a pretty big event, especially in America, because it's the Independence Day of 4th of July, and bro, holidays are just starting, especially for the middle class who get kind of vacation time in July. And so there's gonna be a lot of holiday rush, and yeah, the huge holiday rush in the United States for the 4th of July. This article is by CBS again, and yeah, let's give it a quick read. So yeah, the planes are packed. You guys can't read that because exposure sucks, and I can't. Can I not? Oh wait, I'm dumb. Okay, that is much more readable. The planes are packed. Travelers, airlines gear up for potential delays, cancellations during July 4th weekend. The holiday rush is underway with nearly 48 million Americans hitting the roads or heading to airports for the 4th of July weekend. Cancellations are stacking up once again, though, as airlines struggle to serve their own customers. So yeah, 48 million Americans. That is almost one in every sixth American. That is more than one in every sixth American, actually. One in seven million. 48 million Americans. Obviously, it is such a big thing because it's once again the Independence Day of the United States. Why is this low? I always forget to increase the. I need to have like a button that will let me, manually increase the exposure. But anyway, the TSA reports that more than 2 million people have passed through a COVID checkpoints, passed through airport checkpoints on most days this month as flight traffic approaches pre-pandemic levels. But airlines are struggling to keep up. Since Memorial Day, airlines have canceled more than 21,000 flights. 21,000. And this is just airlines in the United States. In an effort to make up for some of those issues, Envy and Piedmont, two of American Airlines regional carriers, are offering pilots up to 3 times the pay that they'll pick up extra shifts. 3 times the pay to pick up extra shifts. So they're offering the pilots up to 3 times to do extra shifts. Okay. Earlier this year, the United and Delta announced schedule reductions for July, and now some Delta pilots are picketing. The problem is they're trying to operate by responding to demand, but they cannot respond to demand that they don't have the staff to support it. That is actually true. You cannot respond to demand if you don't have the resources or the people to respond, necessary to respond to it. If you have to cancel 21,000 flights, you have to have 21,000 pilots effectively. Actually, no. Let's say out of those 21,000 flights, each of them is 7. So you at least have to get 3,000. Am I on mute? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Let me just reload. Okay, no, I'm not. Okay, no, I'm not. Okay, no, I'm. Okay, no, I'm not. Okay. So what I was saying was, if you have let's say for all the 21,000 flights, you're going to do 7 flights per pilot, which is you still need 3,000 pilots. I don't think any pilot will want to do 7 flights in a short period of time. But if for triple pay, they might surely do it. So yeah, the problem is they're trying to operate. I was just covering that. Delta is also taking the unusual step of waiving all charge fees through Monday, saying that it expects operational challenges over the weekend. Travelers who choose to drive instead of fly will face high prices at the pump, of course. The national average is down since climbing of above $5 per gallon 2 weeks ago, but remains high at 4.86 to $4.86, $1.75 more than a year ago. Farouk Karani told CBS News transportation correspondent Errol Barnett that the potential airport chaos is just too much. I don't think many people, especially for such a widespread country like United States, I don't think many people would choose to drive. I think many people will take the flight approach to travel from city to city to obviously they treat it like a holiday, and we in Indians treat it like a festival. So yeah, the planes are plagued. You have delays. God help you if you have a delay. They said, I am now a committed driver, at least until things improve, being able to make flying convenient again. Flying was convenient if you had booked in advance. If you had booked, 4 hours before you were leaving the airport, I don't think you would have a good time. But if you booked, a month ago, I think it would be all right. So Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg told CBS News that his agency is engaging with the airlines every day on being more reliable. Today, the airlines and the Federal Airway Association held a meeting to discuss their shared commitment to minimizing disruptions and providing a safe, efficient journey for all travelers. So yeah, bottom line, now is not the time to travel, especially during the 4th of July weekend. Like, I'd say even road trips you should avoid, because pileups can start happening on highways, and that's even worse, because sitting hours or in slow moving traffic is arguably worse than sitting 2 hours stationary at an airport. In my opinion, that's it. So yeah, there's that. Once again, stay home, and yeah, the articles by CBS, I'll have it in the description down below. And that is it for the world news section. And now we're on to the business news section, which a lot of articles that were technology based were actually in the business news section, especially this one. And yeah, a lot of the Coinbase and the crypto stuff was in the business news, but I moved it to technology because it's technology news. So yeah, the only business news that we have today is General Motors, a very established United States vehicle transportation company. It's not very well known in the eastern parts of the world, but it's like one of the major companies in the United States that makes vehicles. And they announced that due to manufacturing issues, as they call it, they I forgot what they wanted to say. Hey, 1 second. And they warned investors about the supply issues that could impact their 2022 Q2 hearings, which is basically. Q2 is like my way of saying it. A lot of companies shorten down. It's like the second quarter. Quarters 2, you can claim it like that. So yeah, Detroit General Motors on Friday warned investors that supply chain issues would materially impact its second quarter earnings while maintaining its previous guidance for 2022. The Detroit automaker says it expects net income during the second quarter to be between $1.6 billion and $1.9 billion, and the pre-tax adjusted earnings to be in the range of $2.3 billion and $2.6 billion. Analysts expected GM's net income to be around $2.5 billion during the second quarter, which is lower than what they expect now. According to FactSet, GM did not previously provide a forecast for its second quarter. So obviously this was well known and it was expected. especially by General Motors themselves. That's why they wouldn't say anything. Shares of the automaker were down by 2% after briefly being halted during the pre-market trading, pending news. The forecasts were part of a filing by the automaker disclosing that it has about 95,000 vehicles in its inventory that were manufactured without certain components as of June 30, a majority of which were built in June. GM said that it expects substantially all these vehicles will be completed and sold to dealers before the end of 2022. So before the end of they already have 95,000 mostly complete vehicles, which I would argue is probably framing and exterior, and some parts of the interior they might be waiting on, or I think mainly electric components. I don't think there's a shortage of materials that they need to build the framework or the exterior parts of the vehicle, basically. So they're expecting to substantially all of these vehicles will be completed and sold to dealers before the end of 2022. Despite this, GM stood by its previously announced guidance for 2022 that includes net income of between $9.6 billion and $11.2 billion per year. I think, no, 1.2. Net income. So the pre-tax adjusted earnings are between 13 billion and 15 billion US dollars, or $6.50 and $7.50 a share. And adjusted automotive free cash flowing through the guidance range of between 7 billion and 9 billion US dollars. In addition to inflation and other macroeconomic factors, the global automotive industry has been battling supply chain problems caused by the COVID-19 pandemic for more than a year, specifically supplies of semiconductor chips that are used throughout vehicles. So once again, semiconductor shortage. It always comes back to that. At first it was graphics cards for computers, and now it's cars. Of course. The filing was released ahead of GM reporting its second quarter US sales, which were down 15.4% from a year ago. So yeah, everything that requires technology has been affected, even cars. Now we've always expected that. We've always expected the semiconductor shortage to be a huge blow to the technology industry. But not only is it affecting technology, it is affecting even car makers, which in my opinion is kind of surprising. I thought it was due to materials or something else, but hey, there's that. So yeah, once again, article by CNBC, and if you want to read it, it'll be down in the description down below. So that is it for the business news, and now we have a lot of topics for the technology news. In just the last 2 days, we have so much to talk about, so much interesting stuff. Like, we're gonna start with this, which I missed in the last episode because I got tired and I forgot. Yeah, an FCC commissioner is asking Google and Apple to remove TikTok from its app stores. Now, we all know TikTok is spying on us. I mean, almost every company spies on us, and we have tools and we have ways to kind of block them from spying on us. That not only includes like blocking location services and location access, blocking access to your camera, blocking access to your storage and your call history and your messaging history and whatever. But you cannot block stuff that you do within the app. Like, for example, what is on your clipboard? What are you searching for? What are you who are you following? All of these things, while they might be private to you, are everyone at TikTok can see this type of data, and they can base their decisions on top of that by building a profile on who you are, what are you like, and and I don't mind TikTok. I mean I don't mind companies like Google and Microsoft having this. I mean, obviously they have a lot of data of mine, and not many other sites do. Like, I take privacy very seriously. Like, it's not just taping my webcam and using not clicking on links and not clicking on shady links or inputting my information in shady websites. But it's not TikTok. I don't think the company that owns TikTok, ByteDance, is not going to use our information against us. In fact, they'll just use it to make our experiences better, because if TikTok knows what I like, it's not gonna recommend me some bullshit that they feel that is popular. They'll recommend me content that I would like to watch. YouTube does it, Twitch does this, Instagram does this, so every social media site does this. They recommend stuff that you'll want to watch, and not only it's a win-win situation. It's a win for TikTok, because if that video had an ad on it, they will obviously get paid for it. It's a win for the content creator, because their TikTok got viewed and they got a little bit of money from it. And it's obviously a win to you, because you wanted to click on it. You enjoyed that. So you might have gained something from it. Maybe it's happiness, maybe it's a bit of laughter, maybe it's from information, or just that is how entertainment works. You wouldn't want to click on a TikTok that you don't want to watch. For example, on TikTok, I really love watching 3D edits, or time lapses of something. I don't really like watching the comedy section, or the dancing section of TikTok. And if TikTok doesn't just bombards me with that bullshit all over again, I wouldn't want to use TikTok. And it's a lose-lose, because I don't want to use the platform, and that's one less user, and that is technically less revenue for them. So every social media network does work like this. So yeah, that's just my basic thing on how they use our data. And the problem with this data is not in the hands of ByteDance or Google or Microsoft, but when it gets into the hands of other people, like for example a database leak, or in this case the Chinese government, which can use that data in ways that we wouldn't want to use it. Like if you are in China and you're using TikTok, and you're liking posts and commenting about stuff that might be problematic, like politically based. I mean, first of all, if you're commenting on TikTok about politics, what the hell is wrong with you? So yeah, you wouldn't want that information to be especially given to a third party, or in this case another government that of a country that you don't belong. So yeah, that's basically what I'm trying to say. I know it's very scuffed up, but bear with me. So yeah, this article is by CNN, and the FCC commissioner calls on Apple and Google to remove TikTok from their app stores. A member of the Federal Communications Commission is renewing calls for Apple and Google to remove TikTok from their app stores, citing national security concerns surrounding TikTok's Chinese-based parent company ByteDance. In a June 24th letter to the CEO of Apple and Google, FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr described ByteDance as beholden to a Chinese government and required by law to comply with Chinese government surveillance demands. Yes, China, the CCP, the ruling party, does have official laws that every Chinese-based company has to provide this surveillance demands, as they call it. It's just user data that they're collecting, and they're absolutely going to collect data from their citizens, but it's a huge issue if they're going to collect it from everyone around the world. Citing a recent BuzzFeed news report that ByteDance Chinese staff had accused TikTok had accessed U.S. TikTok users' data on multiple occasions. Carr said the allegations show how TikTok is out of compliance with the policies that both of your companies allow every app to adhere to. Apple and Google didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. In a statement, TikTok called the BuzzFeed report misleading. Like many other global companies, TikTok has engineering teams around the world. TikTok said we employ access controls like encryption and security monitoring to secure user data, and the access approval process is overseen by our US-based security team. Yeah, you have all of this encryption, you have this security monitoring tools, but none of that is useful when the government shows up at your doorstep and tells you and gives you a demand for data, and if you don't agree to it, they take your business down. So they have to either agree to it, or the entirety of TikTok is gonna get shut down, which I don't see as a win for either parties, but I don't see this as a win either. So TikTok is either way taking a massive L here, because there's no way they can win. Because if they agree, they are compromising the security of their app, which was already compromised already is just making it even worse. But if they disagree, TikTok is gonna get put out of business. So I don't know what TikTok is planning or thinking, because they're in a very, very a bad case here. In a statement, BuzzFeed News said that it stands categorically behind our reporting that U.S. user data was accessed by Chinese-based TikTok employees far more frequently than previously known, and we are glad that TikTok even confirmed this in their own statement. For years, U.S. officials have expressed concern that Chinese government access to U.S. users' data or communications could put national security at risk, but whether cars play will work is uncertain. Now, people are arguing about how user information being transferred to another country is bad, and this is how, like, it is bad. Obviously, the U.S. and China have feud for multiple years, and U.S. officials have accused Chinese companies of spying on them and giving that information to China. And if China knows, what is U.S., they can intentionally, spread misinformation or some bullshit propaganda, and then that puts national security at risk. That could increase the chances of people not knowing how bad a situation can be, and that situation can just be China is not doing this trading with some U.S. company, but it can escalate through full-blown wars, and we have already seen that. So I don't know what is going to happen in the future, but God hope it's something that we can sort out. The FCC plays no role in regulating internet-based services such as app stores, and prior efforts by the U.S. government to ban TikTok from U.S. app stores have faltered amid court challenges. Decisions about how and whether the FCC should act would require buy-in from Chairwoman Jessica Rosenworcel, who leads the independent federal agency. The same data as BuzzFeed reports, TikTok announced that it has migrated its U.S. user data to Oracle Cloud Service based in the United States, and that it would eventually be deleting backups of its user data from its own proprietary servers. So TikTok has basically moved all their data to Oracle Cloud Servers in the United States, meaning that it was in China, and it was already being accessed, which is, we all expected this from TikTok, and no one is going to, store their personal information on TikTok as just a social media app. But still, it's a violation of privacy. So yeah, Carr wrote in his letter that he was not assured by the announcement. That TikTok has long claimed that its U.S. user data has been stored on servers in the U.S., and yet those representations provide no protection against the data being accessed from Beijing. He said, indeed, TikTok's statement that 100% of U.S. user traffic is being routed to Oracle says nothing about where that data can be accessed from. That is true. You can store that data on Oracle, but you can access it from anywhere if you own that data. So it's not going to fix anything. It's all it's going to do is improve latency. If you effectively make it that only TikTok employees based in the United States can access that, then it is it's a situation then it is a solution that is actually going to work. So yeah, that's the end of the article. Basically, wow, surprise! TikTok is spying on us. How could they spy on us? Basically, don't give companies like this access to your location, access to your cameras. If you can, use a VPN. There are multiple VPNs out there. There are especially newer VPNs like that Proton VPN. they're not, they might have some kind of technology that, or some kind of encryption algorithm that is not solved by by companies like Netflix, like trying to use a very established VPN provider like NordVPN on Netflix, and Netflix doesn't really like VPNs, so they are pushing against it. So if NordVPN cannot gets is being able to be detected by Netflix services and effectively blocking your account, maybe a different VPN service like Proton or ExpressVPN or Surfshark, there are tons of different ones. Maybe different VPNs can bypass this detection service. So yeah, I'd recommend. I don't recommend like using new ones that don't have any reputation. I'd recommend using that new ones that have not just come now but like 6 months ago, that do use different encryption algorithms, different ways of encrypting your data, and different servers, and yeah, whatever. So yeah, that's just my opinion on it. Stay safe on the internet. Don't give these losers your privacy. Your data is yours, and you can make it only yours if you know how to do it. And it's simple. Don't give them your location. Do you really think TikTok needs your location? Don't give any social media app your location. I never give any of my social media apps my location. I have always set it to United States default. And it's not just location service. They don't need to know who you are as well. You don't have to use your real name in your email. You don't have to do everything. You don't have to have everything connecting to you. So yeah, that's just my opinion. Once again, article by CNN Business. It'll be in the description down below. Whew. How many more? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 more. And it is 12:30. Okay, let me just... Bro, where is my water bottle? I'm actually going to lose my fucking mind. Okay, there it is. I'm going to keep it near my desk, not on the floor, because I can't see shit. Okay. Where were we? Finish that. Alright. Next up on the list, Samsung beats TSMC and Apple it becomes the first to start manufacturing 3nm chip architecture, improving performance for energy consumption. So Samsung, TSMC, Apple, and Qualcomm, and CPU manufacturers like Intel, AMD, and GPU manufacturers like Nvidia, all of these semiconductor industries have tried really hard over the years to improve the efficiency of their chips, consuming less power, outputting less heat, and just making the overall product consume less energy and output less heat, which is a positive thing. So Samsung has been the first. It's obviously been going down. Always, it's becoming thinner and thinner, and technology is improving. And Samsung becomes the first person to hit the 3nm, the first company to hit the 3nm chip architecture. So yeah, this article is by Gizmodo. It'll be in the description down below. Have we had Gizmodo on the show before? I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, Samsung wins race to 3nm chips. It promises huge performance and efficiency gains. The processors will be used for high performance, low power computing before arriving on smartphones. Samsung has crossed the 3nm finish line ahead of TSMC, beating the Apple supplier to the production of the 3nm chips. In doing so, Samsung is now on pace to release the most advanced chips in the world. According to Samsung, the new fabrication process is a 45% more power efficient and delivers 23% better performance than the previous 5nm process. So if you guys are curious about how thin 5nm are, A centimeter is, in my opinion, about that much. A millimeter is a tenth of that, and a nanometer is a tenth of that. No, a thousandth of that. They are so incredibly thin that even just touching them just a slight bit of like, how do you put it? They are so thin that if you even just slightly move your hands between them and try to hold them, it will break. They It's that brittle, and obviously you will never see this in real life scenario because it's behind a thick sheet of glass on both sides and metal around the sides. It's inside a phone or a laptop. So yeah, these gains are achieved using a process called all-around transistor architecture, or GAAFET, an update on FinFET on a surface that has a 16% smaller surface area than before. Samsung said the process would be used for high-performance, low-power computing, with mobile processors coming later. Than a second generation 3nm process will reduce power consumption by 50% and improve performance by 30% on a 35% reduced area. So power consumption is obviously a big deal for Samsung, especially for for phones, because if the chip is going to consume less power, it'll have longer battery life because it can save more power. If it requires less power, obviously it's going to have longer battery life. That means Samsung can either reduce the amount of what do you call they can reduce the battery size to something less than 5,000 milliamp hours, or they can they don't have to reduce it at all. It can still be a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, which is in the S22 Ultra, and they can just have better battery life. Obviously, in especially in the from 2020 to 2022, Apple has a significant lead in battery performance, in battery life. In 2010 to 2020, they had really bad battery life with the iPhone 7, the iPhone 8, but everything after the iPhone 10 had good battery life, and the 11 Pro Max just destroyed every type of competition. The 11 Pro Max was just on another level. I would argue people would get days without charging it, and high power users would get 12 to 13 hours, whereas most phones would get 8 or 9 hours. And with the 13 Pro Max, it's just incredible. It's not just battery size, because their battery size is lower than, it's around 4,000 milliamp hours, and it still scores way higher than Samsung and Xiaomi's, which have 4,400 and 5,000 milliamp hour battery. They are way ahead in terms of software management, like the ability for they have AI or AI or something that will know how you use the phone, so it can kill off processes, background tasks that save power. And the way of doing that without causing inefficiencies is something that Apple has pulled off really well over the years. And software power management is where they are leading the industry. They are so far ahead. No Android manufacturer except those thick high durable phones with 6,000 or 7,000 milliamp hour batteries. That is the only comparison. No modern flagship even comes close to the iPhone. So yeah, the Samsung, obviously it's going to be a huge advantage for them, because any advantage in saving battery is effectively a better thing for the consumer. So yeah, being the first to enter the market demonstrates Samsung's position as a cutting-edge chip manufacturer. However, the Korean tech giant has a long road ahead to prove itself against TSMC, the Taiwanese chip maker that dominates market share and manufactures chips for Apple's iPhones, iPads, MacBooks, and Macs, plus surprise waffles to fabless semiconductor companies like Nvidia and AMD. TSMC currently accounts for more than half of the global foundry business by revenue. They are huge. They are way huge. The only competitor they have is either Intel, but they only make desktop CPUs, or Global Foundries, which doesn't exist in any form of Western media culture. but you can check out Global Foundries. But yeah, we will continue active innovation in competitive technology development and build processes that will help expedite achieving maturity of technology, said CEO Choi, president and head of Samsung's foundry business. While a major milestone for Samsung, the production of 3nm chips won't likely have that much of an impact on TSMC in the next 12 months, Bloomberg argues. Well, obviously, TSMC is going to respond, and they'll have their own 3nm chip architecture. Probably something that will perform even better. Who knows? The Galaxy smartphone will first need to demonstrate that it can produce with the same cost efficiency as its rival before companies come calling for its chips. So yeah, Samsung and TSMC are currently competing for multi-year deals with Apple and Qualcomm, two mega tech firms awaiting mass production of 3nm chips that could improve the performance of existing products while enabling new technologies. Now, TSMC is obviously pretty well known for building AMD chips and chips in Apple iPhones, and Qualcomm is known for basically every single Android manufacturer except either the extremely low end or in the extreme high end for Samsung, as they have their own Exynos lineup for of chips that they don't sell in the US but sell everywhere else. So if you guys don't know, the Samsung has like two SKUs for every single smartphone that they sell. They have a US one, which is mostly Samsung Galaxy the S series, and you have the other ones. The ones in the United States, the ones sold in the United States are powered by Qualcomm processors, like the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, or they are and everywhere else, that's including Canada, India, China, everywhere it is powered by Samsung's own Exynos chipset. So Samsung is pretty big in terms of what do you call it, in chip architecture and producing chips that power phones. So yeah, achieving 3nm is a small victory. Yeah, small, I get it. But TSMC supposedly set to start high volume production of 2nm technology in 2025. With chips coming in 2026, Samsung will need to keep its foot on the pedal and have any chance of overtaking its fiercest competitor. That's right. No, this it's like proper competitorship, which I appreciate a lot. But yeah, TSMC is not just gonna take the L here. They're gonna beef up production of a 3nm, and then they have predicted that they're gonna start 2nm technology in 2025, which is 2 years from now. And that 1nm difference is gonna make a lot of change. I mean, it's gonna add a lot of benefits, including more efficiency, less power consumption, less heat output, which all adds up to a better smartphone. So yeah, once again, article by Gizmodo, and it'll be in the description down below. And we have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 6 more. Whew. This is becoming tough. Hopefully I can finish before 2 o'clock. Okay. Where were we? We finished that, and now we are on to Brazil might join the EU and making every phone sold in Brazil come with USB-C ports. So we all know about how the EU is pushing towards every smartphone sold in the European Union to come with a USB-C port. Most phones do, and I think every single major smartphone sold in the EU except iPhones comes with USB-C. Samsung, OnePlus, Xiaomi, Oppo, Vivo, pretty much every smartphone sold, especially in modern day, does come with USB-C, except for one company, and that is Apple, which is kind of really confusing, especially over the years, because MacBooks come with USB-C. Mac Studio comes with the Mac Studio comes with USB-C. The I can't talk. the Mac Pro, I don't- the Mac Pro, the iMacs, almost every single Apple product came with USB-C except the iPhone for some fucking reason that no one knows. Except, oh no, they did make some stupid retarded statement that, oh well, it's gonna make all previous iPhones uncompatible with the charger. You don't even include a charger. What the hell are you talking about? But anyway, excuses. So yeah, I am glad that the EU is pushing for this, because if they have to sell phones in the EU, they can't just bail out and say, oh, we're not gonna sell our phones in the EU. So obviously they will eventually fall for it after a little bit of pushing. They'll be like, no, I want to use Lightning. So yeah, anyway, the article by ARS Technica. Brazil is the latest country to consider making USB-C charging a requirement for smartphones. On Tuesday, Anatel, Brazil's National Telecommunications Agency, announced a public consultation for a proposal to make USB-C charging a requirement for all cell phones sold in the country. Anatel's announcement said that it was following in the European Union's footsteps. The EU's USB-C policy will require all smartphones, tablets, digital cameras, and some other consumer electronics with wired charging to receive power over USB-C in order to be sold in the regions. I really hope laptops come to this, because the best thing I've ever bought is a laptop that has the same power connector as my phone, so I can literally carry one cable and one charger for my phone, my laptop, and what? Oh yeah, my Switch. My Switch. How can I forget my Switch? Its laptops will eventually have to meet their requirement too. Anatel is currently only discussing a mandate for phones in Brazil. Brazil is actually a really big country. It has almost 300 million people in it, so this will obviously affect a lot of people. So yeah, the regulator also noted that some U.S. senators are seeking a universal charter strategy similar to the EU's policy. I really hope they follow it up with USB-C, and this shouldn't really just apply for USB-C. It should apply for everything, including HDMI. I feel like every laptop that has a display output should come with HDMI. Almost every laptop with a display output comes with HDMI, but it should be official. Some brave soldiers will ship their laptops with DisplayPort for some reason. Who the fuck uses DisplayPort? What, you're gonna hook up your gaming monitor that you're gonna take with you? So yeah, in documents supporting Anatel's proposal and spotted by The Verge, Anatel said that a USB-C policy could reduce e-waste, be more convenient for consumers. That's right, more convenient. I only have to carry one charger. And if I'm in a dire need situation and my charger is broken or I don't have a charger, I can just buy one charger and charge all three of my devices. My phone, my laptop, my Switch, maybe even a game controller, maybe even an external USB-C display that I don't have, but okay, whatever. And help Brazil accommodate standards being adopted globally, it noted. However, such a requirement could deter innovation and around its charging standards, and could cost higher costs for Anatel and the companies it regulates. The documents describe a policy that will require phones and USB chargers that support charging at over 15 watts to support USB-C charging, which is pretty much every phone. I think every phone other than Samsung and Apple are pushing for extremely high charging rates. Xiaomi is 120 watts. Oppo and Vivo are 65 watts. Huawei is at 67 watts. All of these are high charging, and they're very close to laptops. Most laptops rely from around 25 watts to 100 watts. That is relatively normal, ultrabooks. Obviously, you have gaming laptops that go up to 270 watts or something. So yeah, Anatel is also considering two other requirements for one that will ensure that alternative charging methods do not impede USB-C charging, and one having form packages and manuals state a minimum power requirement for charging. Now, a minimum power requirement for charging should be actually low, because if you're just buying a charger, in case of an emergency charger, obviously you'll buy a charger that comes up with your phone. Actually, no. Wait, wait, we're in 2022. Which phone comes with a charger? What I meant to say is you're gonna buy a charger with the phone, and you want a pretty fast charger. So, in some cases, you might not bring that charger with you. You forgot or it broke, and you need an emergency kind of charger, and that charger should be, you know, at least 15 watts, in my opinion. But I don't think there should be a minimum power requirement for charging. Like that's a stupid. Obviously, it should be not completely low enough. Like anything about 5 watts, because pretty much every phone that is sold since what 2015 to 2022 comes with 5 watt charging. So yeah, Anatel isn't looking into standardizing wireless charging, but documents show that adoption will continue to be the subject of studies both nationally and internationally in order to assess the damage. It's the In order to assess the need to define the standardization of this category of charging interface, according to a Google translation. So I'm not sure many people use wireless charging. I mean, I do. It's useless, but it's cool, and a feature. I forgot what I say. Standardizing a feature that just is cool is not necessary in my opinion. Like obviously USB-C charging is gonna have a massive difference. Wireless charger not so much, because it's not that hard to just plug your phone on a night and sleep. It is cool, just putting your phone down and having it charge, but it's slower. It generates more heat, and it's not that less inconvenient than plugging your phone into a charger. Like, come on. So yeah, anyway, that's just my opinion on it. Once again, good job EU, and I hope the rest of the world and all the smartphone companies follow suit, including you, Apple. Whew, man. Is there any like mouth exercises you can do? Like stretching your mouth? Okay, no, that sounded overtly sexual, but what I meant to say is, like, don't you get sick and tired of talking? Like, you talk all day in class, you talk all day in work, you come home and talk to your friends, and then now you're talking to people online. There's a lot of talking that goes on, and I have no problem. I mean, obviously, I don't, just talk out of my ass. I think about what I'm going to talk, and most of my points are, any form of like counter argument that I have, I will say, hey, like, hot take, but hey, this is why I think like this, and this is why, and not I haven't had much, conflict with that, and I hope that any points that I do bring up on this show isn't particularly controversial, because I don't want to deal with that. Okay, so we have two stories of cryptocurrency. A Russia v Ukraine, an update to the Russia v Ukrainian war. We have that and that. Come on, we can power to this. Four more, and it is 12:49. We actually powered to a lot of this, especially I think this one and this one and this one. We're gonna get through this, hopefully. Okay. Next up, the two cryptocurrency stories. Coinbase is apparently selling geolocation in data of its users to the ICE, the U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement Agency. So yeah, Coinbase, if you guys don't know, is a platform where you can buy and sell cryptocurrencies. It's basically an investment platform, and it's known for having pretty good revenue, pretty good reputation, and not much of it is like just bad. Okay, so what I was saying was they have pretty good reputation. I mean, I have used it. It is reliable. At least I don't like the minimalistic like color scheme and theme that they have, but that's all. You can just fix that quickly. So can you fuck off? How much of a big... Oh, so when you scroll down, scroll up, it comes. All right. So, Coinbase is reportedly selling geolocation data to ICE, which is once again the immigration. I forgot what it's called. The U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement Agency. Watchdog group Tech Inquiry reported the new details about the 3-year contract with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Wait, what? Okay, I don't know what that is, but anyway, crypto exchange Coinbase Coin Analytics Program, Coinbase Tracer, will provide the U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement Agency, or the ICE, with data about crypto users, including historical geo-tracking data and transaction history, according to a contract obtained by the watchdog group Tech Inquiry. So once again, I always say, does Coinbase need to know who I am? Yes, I mean they do know, because Coinbase is tied to my bank account. But do they need to know about my location? No, I have it disabled, and I've got prompts asking me to enable it. But I don't, because why should it know where I am? It doesn't need to know. Nobody needs to know where your location is. Obviously, in some extreme edge cases, it might, like, for example, food delivery apps. How will they function? They have to know where you are to deliver you the food. But in cases like this, they don't have to know. So yeah, the contract adds detail to what was previously known as about the 3-year deal between the crypto exchange and ICE, the law enforcement arm of the United States Departments of Homeland Security, or DHS for short. The Intercept initially reported the news. A representative for Coinbase denied that the information provided by the analytic software is the exchange's customer data. They said all Coinbase Tracer features use data that is fully sourced from online, publicly available data, and do not include any personally identifiable information for anyone or any proprietary Coinbase user data. The deal, which is signed in September of 2021, I think, is for a maximum of $1.37 million, and is one of several small contracts between Coinbase and the U.S. government agencies. In August of 2021, Coinbase signed a smaller contract with ICE worth $29,000 to provide the agency with license for its analytics software. In April 2021 and May 2020, Coinbase sold licenses, both initially under $50,000, from Coinbase Tracer to the U.S. Secret Service. Coinbase Tracker, formerly known as Coinbase Analytics, has faced controversy before. The branch of exchange responsible for the software's development emerged from Coinbase's 2019 acquisition of blockchain intelligence firm Neutrino, whose executive team previously worked with a startup that sold spyware to several governments, including Saudi Arabia, which are known for human rights abuses. So, while Coinbase does have a good reputation in terms of like working, Coinbase Analytics doesn't, in my opinion. They have worked with a startup that sold spyware, which is immediately a red flag. So once again, there is a lot of these cases of people selling geolocation data. This happened with Tim Hortons, a Canadian-based coffee company, which they have their own app that identifies store locations near you, and for that they need store location access. So they need your location access to know where you are, but that they don't just use it for where you are. They use it for a huge number of things, and they even caught selling it, and blah 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 blah. Huge privacy risks, and there are multiple ways to avoid this. Once again, it's obviously denying permission. You can actively deny permission. You can use VPNs, you can use firewalls and ad blockers and all of that stuff. And you can also do stuff within the app. Like, for example, if you're searching for Obviously, in Coinbase, I don't think anything. You don't have anything to hide because, I mean, you wouldn't want your uncle from 25 who's like 75 years below the grave and complaining about you wasting your money on stupid shit or something. But still, privacy is important, and I really hope companies can respect our privacy. Like, guys, please, it's just a humble request. So yeah, once again, article by CoinDesk. I will have it in the description down below, and let's quickly move on. We're going through this. Also, it's becoming really hard to talk, and I am thinking of maybe skipping one or two topics here, but the show is only going on for 2 hours. How long have I been streaming for? 105 minutes ago. Yeah, 105 minutes ago. So we need to stream for 180 minutes. We still have over an hour left to go, and we are almost done with all the topics that we have. So yeah, once again in crypto news, companies will need a license and customer safeguards to issue and sell digital tokens in the European Union. So yeah, the EU they're going hard into this technology universe, and they're adding some, while they're annoying things, but they are certainly helpful things, because this prevents any form of scams. This prevents any dumb creepy shit. But anyway, article by Roosters, I'll have it in the description down below. It's becoming harder to talk. Like, I don't know how much of a break I should take. I mean, I've drank a lot of water. I've drank almost a liter of water just in this 1 hour, and it's still becoming hard to talk. You know what? I'll take a quick break. Yeah, I'll take a quick break. I'll be right back. Hey, please tell me my live stream is still working. No, I sound like old granny, can't figure out how to use Facebook. Come on, this shit is not that hard. I mean, at the beginning it was really hard to like live stream, but now I've researched about it, and now I know how to do this. But anyway, okay, it is working. So the fatigue is a little bit, it's a little bit better. I can actually talk now. So yeah, EU agrees rules to tame Wild West crypto market. I don't know what is Wild West about this. Like, that's gold. London, July 1st. Reuters. Cryptocurrencies will need a license and customer safeguards to issue and sell digital tokens in the European Union under groundbreaking new rules agreed by the bloc to tame a volatile Wild West market. Globally, crypto assets are largely unregulated, with natural operators in the EU only required to show controls for combating money laundering. Representatives from the European Parliament and the EU states thrashed out a late deal on Thursday in its markets and crypto assets law. Today, we put order in the Wild West for crypto assets and set clear rules for a harmonized market, said Stefan Berger, a German center-right lawmaker who led negotiations on behalf of the parliament. The recent fall in the value of digital currency shows how highly risky and speculative they were, and that is fundamental to act, Berger said. Crypto markets have tumbled this year, pressured by the collapse of the Terra USD stablecoin and the freezing of withdrawals and transfer by the major US crypto leader Celsius Network. Bitcoin, the biggest token, has slumped over 70% since its November record of $69,000, nice, dragging down the overall market. This is due to the, like the hype of cryptocurrencies is over. You don't see you don't go, ooh, that's a new coin, I want to invest in that. The hype of it is died down, especially in early 2022. I don't see much of people talking about, oh, I'm gonna invest in that cryptocurrency. I'm gonna bring that one. I'm gonna become rich off of that one. Now it's calmed down a little bit, just like how it was in 2017, 2018. So yeah, protecting consumers. The landmark regulation confirms the EU's role as a standard setter for digital issues. The EU states said. With the new rules, crypto asset service providers will have to respect strong requirements to protect consumers' wallets and become liable in case they lose investors or crypto assets, they added. The deal will need formal rubber stamping by the European Parliament and EU states to become law, followed by an implementation period. The new law gives issuers of crypto assets and providers of child-related services a passport to serve clients across the EU from a single base. Hodl of stablecoins, a type of crypto designed to hold a steady value, will be offered a claim at any time and free of charge by the issuer. By all stablecoins supervised the block's banking watchdog EBA. Robert Kopitz, Secretary General of the Blockchain for Europe Lobby Group, that includes the major exchanges Binance and Crypto.com, said the rules were a mixed bag. Thanks to last-minute changes, we also fear that stablecoins will basically have no ways to be profitable, which is true. You wouldn't have in especially cases of cryptocurrency, the value of it going up and then down and up and down has a lot of potential for profits. However, if it's stable, if it's slowly going down, it'll take a long time for it to slowly go up, and you don't know that correct time, when to properly invest. And once again, this is not financial information. Don't take this seriously. I've always said, don't take anything I say seriously. When it's going down, you don't know when it'll reach the lowest, because that's the point where you have to invest, and then it'll go higher and higher and higher. And especially in a kind of predictable case, you don't really know. A predictable case becomes unpredictable. If it's slowly going down, it will go down. If it's slowly going up, it will go up. So you know when to predict, but you don't know. When to predict that it's going down, but don't know when it'll go up again. In a case where it is not stable, it'll go up and down and up and down, and you can make a pretty educated guess that at some point it's gonna go up and at some point it's gonna go down. So yeah, AFME, a financial markets industry body, he said the rules will bring certainty, reduce fragmentation, and underpin the development of a robust and well-functioning market. More clarity is needed, however, to ensure that custodians of crypto assets are not only on the hook in the case of negligence or misconduct, and not for events beyond a custodian's control, such as a nation-state hack, AFME said. Finance Watch, which promotes the public interest in finance, says the rules will protect consumers, and it welcomed the new role for EBA after the difficulties faced by stable coins. So yes, this rule will obviously protect consumers against theft, especially online theft,
stealing cryptocurrency accounts, or modifying the blockchain, which is very rare, and it's basically impossible to modify any form of logs in the blockchain, because for you guys don't know how the blockchain works, it's a copy that stores not only it's like a hash that it's a transaction ID, but it also stores each cell stores the Bitcoin wallet, the amount of money transferred to which other Bitcoin wallet, the transaction ID, and the previous transaction ID. So if you edit it, the transaction ID will change, and if the one after that the one stored after that doesn't have the same transaction ID, everything after that will be incorrect. And this is on every Bitcoin mining machine throughout the world. So it's extremely safe. So yeah, NFT compromise. Of course we're talking about NFTs. Many states, including Ireland, Lithuania, and Greece, have long opposed including non-fungible tokens, which are digital assets representing objects from arts to videos. Under pressure from EU lawmakers, a compromise reached on Thursday night foresees that NFTs will be excluded from the scope, except if they fall under existing crypto asset categories. Brussels will assess within 18 months whether standalone rules are needed for NFTs. National regulators will be responsible for licensing crypto firms, so they'll have to keep the EU securities watchdog ESMA working informed about large operators. ESMA will develop standards for crypto companies to disclose information on their environmental and climate footprint. The United States, and Britain, two major crypto centers, have yet to approve similar rules. The company behind the major USD coin stablecoin called the rules a significant milestone. While no comprehensive body of rules is perfect, it nonetheless provides practical solutions to issues that other jurisdictions are just beginning to grapple with. Yeah, so that is it. So my thought, I obviously support everything, any form of change that helps the consumer without compromising anything. And here, while we are compromising the ability to gain profits, but it comes with the ability to know that you're gonna go into a loss, which I don't think is a perfect trade, and it kind of ruins the kind of like fun or mystery or high stake value of investing. But hey, that's just my opinion. Once again, article by Reuters, and it'll be in the description down below. So we have one more thing. Not one more thing. We have three more things. So yeah, we have some Russia-Ukrainian war news. President Biden to give $800 million more in military aid to the Ukraine. We last episode, I think we talked about how President Biden was pledging to give $1 billion. He's gonna give $800 million more, and I guarantee that will help a lot. So somehow, this is kind of embarrassing. Oh wait, no, it's not kind of embarrassing. I have notifications off. But somehow, Mr. Beast uploaded a video on his fifth channel, Beast Philanthropy, about how he's helping, how he's supplying aid to Ukraine. And somehow I missed that video. Like, I don't have notifications turned on, but I didn't see it trending. Or at least I didn't notice it was trending. And then I see it like day before yesterday. I'm like, wait, did he really make that video and I missed it? I've never missed a Mr. Beast video in my life, and I'm stupid. Anyway, this article is once again by Al Jazeera. Biden, U.S. to give $800 million more in military aid to the Ukraine. Biden says the U.S. is better positioned to lead the world than ever following the NATO and G7 summits despite issues at home. U.S. President Joe Biden has said that the U.S. will soon announce a new $800 million military aid package to Ukraine, bringing the total since he took office to nearly $7 billion US. Biden said the aid that will be announced in the upcoming days will include advanced air defense systems and artillery support as Ukraine continues to face a Russian offense in the eastern Donbass region. The United States is rallying the world to stand with Ukraine, he said, adding the support would continue as long as it takes. Biden spoke on the final day at a NATO summit in Madrid, Spain, in which the 30-country bloc agreed to a new strategic framework that focuses on the direct threat from Russia and for the first time acknowledged the challenges posed by what leaders describe as China's coercive policies. The US president also pushed back on the suggestion that in light of a violent array of domestic issues including gun violence, inflation woes, and the rollback of abortion rights, some US allies think that Biden has failed to live up to its pledge to reassert Washington's leadership on the international stage. I have not seen anyone come up to me, nor have you heard them say anything other than thank you for America's leadership. You have changed the dynamic of NATO and the G7. You have not seen anyone come up to me. Well, you clearly haven't gone to the explore section of Twitter, because every other day there is some stupid propaganda being trending. Oh, Biden is a failure. Biden is an idiot. Biden is this. I mean, obviously I don't care, but it's just still stupid. Anyway, he spoke after announcing earlier in this week that the U.S. would boost its military presence in Europe to bolster NATO. Washington is set to carry an army base in Poland, send 5,000 additional troops to Romania, deploy 2 F-45 squadrons, and increase the number of U.S. Navy destroyers in Spain. Biden hailed the NATO summit as having railed our alliance to meet both the direct threats Russia poses to Europe and the systematic dual lenses that China poses to a rules-based world order. Meanwhile, he praised the official invitation for Sweden and Finland to join NATO, which will increase the bloc's border with Russia by 1,287 kilometers or 800 miles via Finland. That move came after country dropped its opposition to the two Nordic countries joining the bloc. Biden said during a sideline meeting with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan that he voiced his support for Washington selling F-16 fighter jets to Ankara, which would fulfill a long-standing request. Biden maintained that there was no quid pro quo statement, but noted that he would need congressional approval to make the sale. Roe versus Wade de-establishing, turning towards domestic issues. Biden said the recent decision by the conservative-controlled U.S. Supreme Court to overturn Roe versus Wade, which removed federal protection for abortions that had been in place for nearly 50 years, has been de-establishing to the U.S. public, and reiterated his stance that the ruling was outrageous. So this is talking about all the other things that happened. We obviously the 1 week that I took a break had one of the biggest news covers that entire week. Obviously, I missed that entire Roe versus Wade thing, and I don't want to talk about it now because I have already spoken about it on Twitter, and yeah, I'm tired of talking about it. Obviously, it's still a bad thing, and it's not going to do anything. It's just going to make it harder and more annoying to get an abortion. That's it. It's not going to stop anything, in my opinion. So yeah, that's just the end of this article. If you want, you can once again read it. It's by Al Jazeera, and it'll be in the link down below. And now moving on to so I was at college. I was sitting in a break around 9:30. I was just standing outside, and I saw this notification that said "So long, nerds." And then I see, okay, it's from Technoblade, and I'm like, what could that mean? And then after just like 10-15 seconds, I am like, I have to watch this video. And then I watched it and was in an utter shock. Now, if you guys don't know, Technoblade, a massive Minecraft YouTuber, he has around 11 million subscribers. He has been in almost every single popular Minecraft series. That is all the way back from Minecraft Monday in 2019 to SMP Live, SMP Earth, obviously the Dream SMP and MCC and all these other different. I think I've missed a couple, but he's been a part of all of these different events, and we all know he was diagnosed with cancer like last year, and unfortunately within a year he sadly passed away after losing his battle to cancer. And that is shocking. He is 22 years, and before being diagnosed with cancer, he was completely healthy. Nothing was wrong with him, living a nice young adult life, only to then get diagnosed with such a terrible disease. And then not only that, but to lose to it within a year of getting diagnosed with it. That is shocking to me. And I'm just sitting there like dumbfounded. Like, obviously I don't watch Minecraft content, and I've barely watched any Technoblade videos. But I just watched this video and I'm just in shock. Like, just I didn't know what to say, and I just kept thinking about it. Like, obviously I knew Technoblade. I've kept up with his career for a long time. That's why I know all of these things. He had done Hypixel Skybox series. He is the one who introduced me to a Hypixel Skyblock. Like, he's the reason why I started playing it. And I watched his Skyblock videos, like, sometimes. I didn't watch all of his new videos, especially his new videos. I had no idea, except that Have I Been, I did watch that, and that was sad. And it's like unbelievable to me that such a young a person with pretty much perfect health conditions other than this cancer, with a family, a proper income to for him to be able to support treatment. He has doctors, he has everything, and then with all of that, and just suddenly, it just goes to show how powerful this disease is. I mean, I know it. I've not experienced it, but I've seen people around me dying because of this. Not just my family, but my friends. I've seen so many people, and at this point, it's so sad, but it's still like it's going to happen. And for it to happen this quickly, I have never seen. And I don't know what to say. I'm just been thinking about it. I'm like, this dude was young. This dude was completely healthy, and then within a year of being diagnosed with such a terrible disease, he lost his battle. Like, usually this lasts for several years, lots of treatment, lots of pain, lots of effort, and usually people make it. The only people who lose to it are mainly older generation, older people who don't have access, or the financial ability to pay for this. But a completely perfect, like, healthy, um, like, well, you can say financially stable person like Technoblade, like, losing to as a battle within a year is just shocking. And I just thought about it the whole day, and then I remembered just watching, like, the whole Potato War series. Like, I didn't watch it because I enjoyed it. I just watched it because haha, it's funny. And now that I think about it, I just come to realize he's the only non-controversial Minecraft creator, and he's never done anything dumb. He's never done anything that has pissed me off or anything. And just by remembering how his videos were edited, like, I never noticed, like, how basic it is, but yet it is so entertaining. Like, if you look at his videos, it's just him talking over Minecraft with occasional cuts and occasional zooming in. And if that is enough to make his content so entertaining, that just goes to show how good of a personality he had. No background music, no fancy editing, just him talking over Minecraft. The rewatchability of his Skyblock series was really good. His narration, his story time videos, his Skyblock commentary videos, the Skywars series, it's all so, like, so rewatchable. Like, I did come home and I did watch his videos, and once again, his final video and the video before that, where he had done that Minecraft VR thing, it's it's just entertaining, and for no reason other than that his personality is something that is so overly entertaining. It doesn't require good editing, it doesn't require good quality, it doesn't require anything. And that is something that Technoblade had that no one does. It's still shocking to me. Like, even in his final video, it's titled "So Long Nerds." In fact, his merch, of course, if I spell it correctly, like,
look at this merch. It says GG Easy. That Technoblade humor in his video is titled "So Long Nerds." Like that is something that I could never make. And that's one more thing that I have the utmost respect for Technoblade for, is his ability to make jokes. I remember in his amputation video, where he made a video titled "He Became an Amputee," and when he was told by his doctors that he had to amputate his arm, he his first response was to make a Google Doc about all the jokes he could make with only one arm. And the ability, that mindset of making jokes about such a serious matter about yourself, like you are the only victim here. Not only you're the only victim, you are the main victim of this, and you have the mindset of making jokes of it, just laughing it off, like, it's, oh yeah, it's cancer, oh yeah, I'm the blood god, and just making those kind of jokes and being in that mindset that this is something light. It's something that virtually doesn't ever exist in anyone. No one looks at cancer and be's like, it's nothing. Like, no one does that, and that's what Technoblade did, and that is something that is so incredibly precious, that I sat there thinking about all of this, and I'm just still dumbfounded that this happened. This is such a huge loss to the Minecraft community. And once again, I've never been part of this, or I've never really known any of these people other than the verified people here. But I just saw this, and this where is Jake Lucky's tweet? Yeah, once I saw this, I just made like a video. I mean, not a video. I just made a post on Twitter. Rest in peace, Technoblade. You've come a long way, and your journey will never be forgotten. So I just basically just wrote this. This is just my raw emotions. Cancer is a powerful disease. It is usually a long battle lasting for multiple years, with a gradual decline in health. Losing to it at such a young age after a year of being diagnosed with it is so shocking. Technoblade is the main reason I even started playing Hypixel Skyblock. He was one of the biggest reasons of Minecraft's 2019 revival. The SMP Live, the SMP Earth, Minecraft Monday, and the Skyblock series, he is one of the biggest reasons to Minecraft's revival, and that's why millions of us are still playing it today. This dude is a legend, and even though I don't care, and after losing so many family members and friends, it's still sad to see him go. Rest in peace, man. You've come a long way, and your journey will never be forgotten. So I'm just I know, I've never officially watched him. I don't really follow the Minecraft community that much at all. I just saw this, and it's just so sad to me, and I don't know what to say. And obviously, this has been trending the whole day. I think it's still trending now, and I don't know what to say. I am genuinely okay, this has happened. It's so sad. But then I start thinking about it, thinking about all of his achievements, how unlucky, unfortunate, undeserved it was, how entertaining he was. And at that time, I don't notice it, and now I notice it. It's really sad. Anyway, I'm just lost for words. I don't know what to say. So yeah, that's that. Technoblade has unfortunately died. Even in his latest the video that his dad made, he even his final paragraph, what he wrote for all of his fans, he said that his real name was not Dave. His real name is Alex. And they pulled off that prank for years. Everyone thought his name was David. But no, his name is Alex. And
he always kept his his personal identity safe. He has always kept his family's identity safe, and I kindly ask that you all also keep his privacy. He respect his privacy, respect his family's privacy, especially during this time. And yeah, I thought I would read out some of the tweets there. Actually, no, I will read out the tweets. And it's like the people in our society who get affected by this are the people who don't deserve it. So yeah, Charlie tweeted, "R.I.P. Technoblade. The world just lost to a great person." Tommy in it, one of Technoblade's best friends. He's actually, they're in a group. Him, I think, Filza, Tubbo, Wilbur, and Technoblade. I think they are the friend group. So yeah, Technoblade is a fucking legend. After from being a massive fan to one of his actual friends, I can't describe how thankful I am to have been in his life. I don't know, he's strategizing in heaven on how to beat God. This isn't a joke. Look at the screenshot. Rest in peace. Tell the rest of the SMP that having abolished all governments of men, I have ascended to the kingdom of God. On the kingdom I have ascended to heaven to take on the kingdom of God. Technoblade. I'll never forget the day I met Technoblade. I left work early to play in a Minecraft tournament. This is Minecraft Monday Week 6 that he's talking about. I barely know how to play, and the dude still carried us to win the entire fucking event. Rest in peace, big guy. You will always be a legend. Cancer, R.I.P. Technoblade. Ludwig tweeted, "I've been rewatching Technoblade's for Technoblade's videos for the past hour. He was so witty and so humble, even in the toughest of times. I'll always look up to him. Rest in peace." Rest in peace, Technoblade. Another good soul lost to the horrors of cancer. From Murahar. Bahelo tweeted, "Rest in peace, Technoblade. Words can display how much you will be missed. The lives you have touched and the impacts you have had on them will last forever. Goodbye, Techno." Pokimane tweeted, "R.I.P. Technoblade, you have inspired millions around the world and your legacy will live on. Oh, and cancer." Yeah, and then Hypixel tweeted, "Obviously, Technoblade has been such a massive part of the Hypixel community. He's been longer than any of us. He started playing 4 years before I joined. He's the main reason I even started playing on Hypixel and why I still play Hypixel Skyblock." So they tweeted, "Words cannot describe how we, the entire Hypixel team, are feeling today. Technoblade will always be remembered as one of our best right from the start." Simon has released a statement from himself and the Hypixel team. You will find it here. They also made a memorial and made a memorial on the Hypixel server, and you can find it. You can go to the lobby, and there'll be videos on this on where to find it. So yeah, I'm a Squid Kid, the one whose Technoblade was in in the potato war with. He tweeted, once again, let me just decrease the exposure. "Rest in peace, Technoblade. Thank you for making a positive impact on so many people." Yeah, there's just so much, and there are almost a million tweets about this. This is obviously I've just sorted out by people who I follow, and it is unbelievable that this happened. And I wanted to show the video, but I think it's best not to. I think I should just read out the Jake Sucky's tweet, because this is the second thing that I saw. I just opened Twitter, and this is what was trending. But anyway, Jake Lucky tweeted, "Technoblade has passed away after his battle with cancer. His father delivered a final message on his behalf today. May he rest in peace. We, the family of Technoblade, want all of you to know just how much he adored and respected his fans and colleagues. From Technoblade's earliest online days, he was always strategizing ways to delight and reward his audience, giving away online prizes, encouraging good sportsmanship, and most of all, sharing his Minecraft adventures for entertainment and laughs. Even after his eventual successes, he somehow managed to keep his good-natured humility, competing with an endearing balance between confidence and self-deprecating wit. He avoided personal fame and worked so hard to keep his true identity confidential, and we ask you to continue to honor his wishes and protect his privacy and the privacy of his family. This past year, we had a lot of rough spots for our son as he battled stage 4 cancer, but he didn't complain and kept using his famous strategic mind to try to beat what he knew were most impossible odds. My son's bravery on his path was a shining lesson to all of us who were privileged to walk it with him. Thank you for sharing his journey throughout it all as he did the work for his beloved fans. This is sad. Like I don't keep up with all of this. I don't really watch. I don't hold these people, closely to heart or anything. But it's still just so sad, and I don't know. This is like one of the biggest losses of the Minecraft community I've ever seen, and it'll be like this forever. It's still trending 18 hours later. That just goes to show how amazing this dude was. And I'm sad that I wasn't able to like see this, and I'm seeing it now. And just I remember watching Technoblade's videos like off and on, a little bit, not his old videos, but just a little bit. And it was actually entertaining now that I think of it. And it wasn't entertaining because it was good. It was entertaining just because of Technoblade. So yeah, it's been the end of the road, but your journey will never be forgotten. So, oh yeah, we have to the article. I forgot about that. It's not a case of me being sad. It's just a case of me being, I don't know what to say. Technoblade Minecraft YouTuber dies from cancer, age 23. This article is by the BBC News. I'll have it in the description below. He's in a bed with a nose. I forgot what they're called. But anyway, I think that's an oxygen supply or maybe for food. But yeah, he's sitting on his bed with his diamond play button. Minecraft YouTuber Technoblade has died at age 23. His family confirmed in an emotional video posted on his behalf. The video entitled "So Long Nerds," posted to his 10 million followers, showed his father calling him the most amazing kid anyone could ever ask for. The internet personality rose to fame, live streaming and posting clips of him playing the sandbox video game Minecraft. Last year, Technoblade revealed to his fans that he had been diagnosed with cancer. The farewell message was written hours before his death. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. He wrote like this final video, like his final message, and then 8 hours later, he was done. He was gone. 8 hours. All the way till the end. After that, till 8 hours before he was gone, he realized it was the end of the road. Till then, from his entire year, he's been, hopeful. He's been, like, I'm going to get through this. I'm planning, I'm doing strategic planning on how I'm going to get past through this. All the way only till 8 hours before his death. That is incredible. I mean, obviously it's not, but it's incredible that he had that kind of will. The will to live. The farewell message written hours before his death and read by his father began, "Hello everyone, Technoblade here. If you're watching this, I am dead." He went on to relieve that his real name in fact was Alex, reminiscing about the time he had pranked several viewers into believing his name was Dave. Thank you all for supporting my content over the years. If I had another 100 lives, I think I would choose to be Technoblade again every single time, as those years were the happiest of my life. That is such a good quote. If I had another 100 lives, I think I would choose to be Technoblade again every single time. The online star who won Minecraft tournaments and legions of fans talking about his life in a humorous way while playing the game explained in a fundraising video posted in February that he had undergone chemotherapy, radiation therapy, and a limb salvage operation after developing a painful tumor in his right arm. He died from sarcoma, which is a brain, bone, and soft tissue cancer. He disclosed his cancer diagnosis in August of 2021 and explaining that he initially thought the pain was from a repetitive stress injury due to excessive gaming. After the arm became swollen, he went to the hospital and was subsequently diagnosed with cancer. Little is known about Technoblade, who keeps his true identity concealed until the end, but his online avatar was just a picture of a clown pig. He has 10.8 million subscribers, actually more than 11 million subscribers now. But his bio reads, I play video games too much. I might not be the best, but you have hard elbows. You are the best. Clearly. You are way ahead of anyone. So yeah, Jay Slide tweeted, I never forget the day I met Technoblade. I left work to play early in a Minecraft tournament. With him, I barely knew how to play, and this dude who still carried us to win the entire event. Rest in peace, big guy. You will always be a legend. So yeah, everyone tweeted, and it's just sad. And all I wish is nothing but the best for everyone. I wish nothing but the best for Technoblade's family. I wish nothing from the best for everyone. And this is why I like to keep contact with almost everyone that I know, because at one point, the only way if I'm going to see them is them lying inside a coffin, then I have failed in front of that person. That's just how I take it. So yeah, article by BBC, and it'll be in the description down below if you want to read all of these tweets. So yeah, our last story of the day, we have two stories that I'm not going to talk about, but we'll get into it later. So yeah, our last story of the day, Logan Paul joins WWE. So Logan Paul has always been, pretty vocal about how he always wanted to join wrestling and boxing, and then he had a feud with some dude, and now he's joining in WWE. So yeah, Logan Paul, all YouTuber signs WWE contract ready for SummerSlam. YouTuber Logan Paul is set to reignite his feud with wrestler The Miz after signing a contract with the WWE. The social media star joined a tag team with the superstar, where he made his ring debut at WrestleMania 38 in April of, I think, this year. But fans watched on as Miz turned on Logan, flooring him with his trademark skull finishing finale finisher after the pair's victory over father-son duo The Mysterios. That's a cool name, The Mysterios. The rivals are expected to face off at SummerSlam at the end of the month. Logan announced that his news to his Instagram followers with a picture of him next to WWE bosses Stephen Mann and Paul Triple H Levesque. In a video message shot at the company's headquarters, he says to the camera and says, "The Miz is dead to me. He is my enemy, and I signed this contract so I could beat his ass at SummerSlam." One of Logan's previous rivals were quick to congratulate him. YouTuber KSI, who faced him twice in the boxing arena, replied on Instagram, been watching WWF and WWE for years, and to see you achieve this is legit and unbelievable. Congrats. Not everyone was that complimentary, obviously. The Miz mocked Logan in a ring appearance with a string of tweets and an announcement. I'm not gonna play the video here. The Paul brothers, Logan and Jake, have previously had high-profile boxing matches against influencers and established figures. Logan met the distance when undefeated former world champ Floyd Mayweather, who said he made a whopping $50 million or £35 million from the 8-round exhibition fight. Jake is due to face former Love Island Tommy Fury at Madison Square Garden on 6th August, but there are doubts that the fight after the Brit was refused entry into the USA. Yes, Tommy Fury was actually disallowed from entering into the USA, if you guys didn't know that. So that is it. That is all the stories we have today. We have two stories today. Two more stories. R. Kelly was sentenced to 30 years in prison for multiple sexual offenses, and how the fuck do you say that? Ghislaine Maxwell was sentenced to 20 years in prison for helping Jeffrey Epstein sexually abuse underage girls. Now, I'm not going to be talking about this because I don't want to cover stuff like this on the show. I don't really find covering this type of show to be ethical by me. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it. Obviously, we have some pretty big news. I've thought about putting him in putting Technoblade in the title, because obviously this is the biggest news of today by a long shot. But I'm not going to put it in the new in the news. But I think I'm gonna put. I'm trying to think. I'll put it later. But anyway, thank you all for watching. Stay safe. And yeah. Also, I forgot to say one thing. Make sure to look after your family members and your friends. Make sure you don't see. Make sure the only time you see them is when they are lifeless in front of you at a funeral. Make sure that never happens. It's always good to stay in contact. It's never good to just have, beef or hate towards someone. I know I'm sounding like really cringy, but I'm not saying, oh, don't hate someone or don't hate anything. I'm just saying don't take it seriously, because if they go and that's the only time you get to see them, you'll remember that forever. And so yeah, it's the end of the show. Thank you all so much for watching, and I am out.